Hey, Matt here, and welcome to MOBStreet. Now, this video is probably going to make a few people angry, but I'm going to say it anyways, and here we go. I'm out here with both of my TW200s, and I bought these bikes brand new off the showroom floor. This one I paid $5,582 for, and this one I paid $4,997. Those were mine that I bought brand new off the showroom floor because used TW prices are off the charts right now. For the last few years, people have been selling their TWs and asking darn near dealership prices for a used bike. Now, buyers and sellers, be smart. This means if you are selling your TW200 and you bought it from a dealership, brand new, guess what? You paid those dealership fees. That's on you. That's one of the costs that you have to take for buying a brand new bike. Now, being one who has bought two brand new motorcycles from the dealerships, that's something that I have to take into consideration. I bought the bike. I paid those dealership fees. That is on me. I cannot go and ask somebody to buy my motorcycle and pay me back for those dealership fees, because now I have a used bike that I'm selling him. It is no longer new. It is no longer dealership quality as a new bike. Not something that you have to take into consideration. Buyers, one of the reasons that the prices of used TWs are so much right now is because people are paying them. Yes, they're hard to find. Yes, we did have a period where they weren't coming into dealerships as fast as we wanted them to. They're starting to come back a little bit. So do not pay dealership prices for used motorcycles. Well, it's a 2021, it's only got 100 miles on it, and it was adult ridden. And those 100 miles could have been you fifth gear, wide open, cruising down the highway, when the break-in period of this bike is supposed to be a certain amount for the first 600 miles, and then from 600 to 1,000, another certain amount of varying the RPMs, varying through your gears. If you rode that 100 miles in fifth gear, I don't want to buy it from you, because the break-in process was not done correctly. What about a 1995 with only 4,000 miles on it for 4,500 bucks? No. That is a 25-year-old bike. The components on that bike are 25 years old. How on earth do you get away thinking that you're going to get $4,500 out of a 25-year-old machine? Well, it's only got 4,000 miles on it. So what? That averages out to half a mile a day, when the oil, the fluids that are sitting in there, they have a job that they're supposed to do in lubricating and maintaining the life of seals, gaskets, O-rings, whatever it may be. No, I'm not going to pay you dealership price for a 25-year-old bike. I'd rather pay $4,500 for a 2019 that's got 4,000 miles on it, because the oil is doing its job, the fluids are doing their jobs. I'm not going to have dry rot in my fork seals. I'm not going to have dry rot in my engine gaskets. My bearings are being lubed up by that oil in there. The fluids are doing their job. Well, I just had the fluids recently changed on my 1993. I should get 4,000 out of it. No, you shouldn't. Because, yeah, you might have just barely changed the oil, but how long did you go with that old oil just sitting in there? That doesn't tell me anything. Well, I just had the oil changed. I just did it recently. Well, good for you. I don't know what you've done to that bike beforehand. Was it sitting for 5 or 6 years? Well, I've still got a ton of tread on my tires. You know, that ought up the price, because you won't have to buy new tires. Bull. Because if those tires were made in 1993, like the date code that stamped on them says they were, you're going to have to go and get new tires for that bike. That is now going to be on the person that's buying it. Well, the tread still looks good. Who cares? Everything on this bike has a life expectancy, and they're made to be ridden, they're made to be used, and everything that is on that bike works together in conjunction with keeping everything on that bike going. So even though it's a 25-year-old bike with only 4,000 miles on it, that was only ridden for technically half a mile a day for the last 25 years, I'm sorry, but you cannot ask that price for that bike when it is not a brand new machine. Everything on that bike is now at least 25 years old, and you cannot ask brand new prices for a used machine. Now, if you're buying a TW, a used TW, take somebody with you so that they can assess the bike with you. If you're going and looking at it and be like, oh man, I want a TW, they're great, they're awesome, which they are, they're fun, but take someone with you that can help you look on the outside looking into the bike and go, dude, it's a 30-year-old bike, and he's asking, wait, what's the cost of a new one? $47.99? And he's asking $4,000 for this one? If I was you, look into that really close. How has the bike been maintained? How are the tires? Has the maintenance been done to the bike? Look at the switches. Look at the plastics. Are they dry and rotting, showing that, hey, this bike's been sitting outside for the last 10 years and it's sun faded and it's got sun rot on the plastics? Or has it been garaged? Has it been cleaned? Has it been waxed? I mean, for $100, I can take a 1990 bike, have it professionally detailed, and it'll look brand new. Do not pay dealership prices for a used motorcycle. If you are selling a bike and you bought it brand new from the dealership, I'm sorry, you are the one that paid the dealership fees because that was the choice that you made in buying a brand new bike. You cannot ask buyers to repay you for those fees that they're not now getting a new bike, they are getting a used bike. Whether it's 100 miles, whether it's 1,000, whatever it may be, that bike is now used, and you have to expect a used price for that bike. If you want to get your money back out of it, write it. Write it and get those expenses back out of it. I can't expect to have somebody go and repay me the $1,800 to $2,000 that I paid in dealership fees for these bikes, but I've definitely got my money's worth out of it. So I'm just trying to tell you, used prices on TWs are crazy because the last little while people have been paying that much money for them because the dealerships couldn't get them. Like I said, they're slowly starting to come back in. Some have them, some don't. Some are still waiting. Some have got multiple. Buyers and sellers, please be smart, be ethical, and be realistic. This bike is a $47.99 brand new MSRP out the door. I don't say out the door because you got all the fees and everything that you have to pay on those. Well, guess what? The dealership has to make their money off of them too. The markup in these is not what you think it is. They have to have a way to make their money as well so that we can continue getting brand new bikes. That's the way it works. Fair, unfair, whatever you may think it is, dealerships have to make their money too. They're folks that are just like you and me that are trying to feed their families, they're trying to go to work, and they're trying to do what they can to put food on the table. That is one of the ways that dealerships do it, and that's the way it is. If you don't want that, then go buy a used bike. But do not pay dealership prices for a used machine, and do not expect dealership prices out of your now used machine. Am I right? Am I wrong? Put it in the comments down below. If there's any questions, let me know, and I'm going to call it there. I'm getting snowed on, and I'm going to go inside now. So I'm Matt. This is my 2019 and 2021 TW200 that I bought brand new because the prices on the used ones were going through the roof, and the only way to change it is for us to be more educated as buyers and as sellers. We have to think and we have to be ethical in both forms of buying and selling. This is MOBStreet, and thanks for watching.